All right, guys, welcome back for another week of the 531, where we take a top 5 list on a particular subject, debate it down to a top 3, and then according to the maker of this theme song, it does not go down to a top 1. There is no such thing as a top 1. It's the king of the hill, the man that wears the crown, the number 1 stunner, the top person that AEW should cut, according to this week's list. So this week, obviously, I buried the lead there that it's the top 5 people AEW should cut. And Jake got us a list first. He has Colt Cabana, Frankie Kazarian, QT Marshall, Peter Avalon, and Marco Stunt. What do you think about that list?
I feel like these lists are going to be like just people that people don't like.
Frankie Kazarian was an odd choice for me because
I like her.
I mean, I wouldn't cut Colt Cabana, but I could see maybe where you think he's not as big. Kazarian's huge. QT Marshall, obviously, is, I would say, an expendable name. Peter Avalon, I feel like he's got potential that he's not living up to, because I heard a lot about him in Championship Wrestling from Florida, and he's been just a comedy, like, opening match player on so far.
Championship Wrestling from Florida or Hollywood?
Championship Wrestling for Hollywood. I fucked that up.
Yeah, honestly, I think here's the thing about Peter Avalon, though. I'll give Jake a break on this, because look at people who should cut. It's basically based off what they're doing with him right now, and they're not doing anything with him right now. So although he has more potential, you know what? Based off what they're doing, I can see that's a good choice. The only one I would have disagreed with maybe was like you, maybe Frankie Kazarian.
That seemed to be an odd choice, but maybe he's not an SCU guy. Maybe he sees Daniels as kind of the mentor of that group, and Scorpio Sky is the young gunner.
Here's the thing, I like Daniels, but I would have took Daniels out because he's the one who's been around longer.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you can always give him a backstage job, but anyway.
The next list we got is from Mike Flynn. He's got Austin Gunn, QT Marshall, Michael Nakazawa, Peter Avalon, and Luther. There were comments next to all of these, but I didn't put the comments as much. I know Luther, I believe he said he didn't really know what his role in the company is. I think when the Nightmare Collective was a thing, he added a nice twist to it. And the reason he has a job, Mike, is because he's a close friend of Jericho's. I mean, I think he adds something, but...
I'll give you. I'm looking at it right here. Austin Gunn. Wrong kind of heat. QT Marshall, maybe he's a good producer, but he's awful, boring, and I changed the channel. Michael Nakazawa, not my thing. Peter Avalon, we didn't really get.
I can agree with that with Nakazawa because
I do too.
The baby oil thing, it's funny, but it's kind of a little too heavy-handed.
It's almost WWE. It's almost like something WWE would do on Raw.
Yeah, something like shitty that they.
That's what I mean. It's something like, I mean, I hate to say that because I had so many great memories of WWE growing up. But when I say it was something WWE would do, that's usually what I mean. It's like, yeah, that's shitty. Yeah. If I say something like Triple H and NXT would do, like, oh yeah, that might be a better thing.
Now, next up on the list, we got Jesse from New Hampshire, and he's got Jimmy Havoc, Dr. Luther, Sean Spears, Orange Cassidy, and Michael Nakazawa.
Yeah, man. I feel like there's so much potential with Sean Spears, and I'm really sad that...
You think he's going to live up to that leather glove gimmick?
Yeah, I was listening to Posty and thing like that. They were talking about that. And like, if you're fans and you know the history of that glove for 40 years, that probably really didn't make a lot of sense to people. You imagine not knowing that, and you're like, we gave him a fucking glove. What the hell's that?
Yeah, what's this old man giving this dude a glove without fingers?
But that was a great promo by Tully, by the way. I don't know if you saw it where Tully...
I still have not seen it. I only saw like the tail end of where he was yelling at him.
Tully's like, basically talking about, forget about the search for your tag partner. Did you know they were doing that for a little while?
Yeah.
Right. So Tully's like...
It was a good thing they pulled the WWE move and just let that storyline die.
Yes.
Whatever it was.
Yes, I like that.
I didn't mean that as a compliment, but...
No, I'm glad they died.
Some storylines do need to be let go when you're trying to force something with a guy.
Here's the difference with them, too. They did this with the Nightmare Collective thing, too. They eventually addressed it in a small way on YouTube, and Tully addressed this, too, in that interview.
Oh, okay.
So, he basically said with the tag team that he said, we're not doing that anymore. Now, that's a small way of doing it, but he's basically saying, we're going to talk legacy and where your head's at.
It's a way of addressing it rather than going with one storyline and then the next week.
Yeah.
Being in a storyline but heading in a weirder direction.
What they're doing basically is they're basically just giving you a little tidbit here, Just like for the hardcores that are looking for it, like here, we're wrapping this up.
You almost have to be a hardcore to like AEW because it feels like if you want the complete storyline, you got to be watching their AEW Dark. You got to be listening to the podcast. You got to be watching the show. You got to be watching Road 2. You got to be watching Being the Elite.
Definitely give you more if you watch all that stuff.
I like that, though, because it fills out a bigger picture. If you just want to watch the wrestling's on TV for you. You want to delve into the storyline, they've got it.
I have to add this before I forget. The part with Tully, basically, he's yelling at him. And he's like, he's like, you have to understand. He said, what am I thinking? He says, I'm getting ready to watch Double or Nothing with my friends, gather around and watch Shaw Spears, and I see my face on your crotch. He's like, do you think that's what I want to see? He's like, I don't know about your legacy, but I'll be damned if that's my legacy. He's like, we need to figure out where you're at right now. And then the next day.
God damn, I got to watch that. That almost makes his face on his crotch worth it. I guess that seems like a weird thing to say about Tully Blanchard. Former guest of the show, Josh Dunn from Rockin' Randy's Rockin' Wrestling Group, came up with Brian Cage, Evil Uno, Brandon Cutler, Jake the Snake, and Michael Nakazawa. Now, there were comments that followed this, and I just remember him saying that, Josh, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I believe it was more or less, he's just never found him to be an exciting wrestler. Cage is good, but if you're not into that big man style of match, I can see why you might not be into him as much.
Yeah, I find Cage fine, but I'm not like blown away. I actually think they did him a big favor by putting Taz with him. Like I find because of Taz. Like if he just came in and like as Brian Cage was doing Impact Wrestling, okay. But he's gonna be just a guy.
What do you see? How do you see that match with him and Moxley ending up at Fyter Fest?
Moxley's gonna win that, and there's gonna be something that goes down with Darby. I feel like the feud's gonna be Darby and Cage because of what's going on with Taz.
Okay.
That's what I think. I don't think we're taking the title off of yet.
I would hope they wouldn't, but I was getting worried that it'd be like, let's get Cage in there, let's get the title on him, almost like happened in Impact.
I mean, you never know. Like even when Brody Lee challenged for the belt, I wondered if they would try to hot shot something. I mean, they didn't, but when you're a new company.
Wow, see, I didn't think about that because you've got two debuting people that are going up against the champion, and for some reason, I saw it as more likely that Brian Cage would get the title versus Brody Lee. But when you put it like that way, why wouldn't you just kind of introduce him and just have him mow down a new guy and start a new rivalry off of that? Evil Uno, I think even if you took the Super Smash Brothers out of the Dark Order, you could take him and Stu Grayson out, and I think you'd be fine. Not a bad choice. I mean, Brandon Cutler, he's not bad, but I mean, you got to have a certain amount of job guys, so that's where I think the QT Marshalls, the Brandon Cutlers, sadly, the Pineapple Pete's come in. I hate to see it, but
I said again, we're not doing it.
Michael Nakazawa popping up on a list again. Feel bad for that guy. Michael Campbell brought us a list from the Rockin' Randy's Rockin' Wrestling Group, and he's got Michael Nakazawa, Joey Janela, Leva Bates, and Dr. Luther. Now, Jason DiAugustino from Rockin' Randy's Rockin' Wrestling Group had Joey Janela, Marco Stunt, Michael Nakazawa, Jimmy Havoc, and Riho.
We're going to have a clear number one this week. But anyway.
Yeah, there's one
very consistent performer.
Now, Larry Hamill, he's got a list of...
Kenny? From the dead? Love that guy. Anyway.
He's got 3 names on his list, but we got 2 tag teams. He's got the Hybrid 2, so that's Angelico and Jack Evans. The Beaver Boys, John Silver and Alex Riley, a former guest, yep, and Sonny Kiss. I want to disagree with this list so much, but I mean, they haven't done as much with the Hybrid 2 as I feel like they could have. I mean, maybe a lot of dark matches. What they did in Lucha Underground, what they've done in AAA.
And Helico has a lot of potential.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing against Jack Evans, either. It was great.
And the Beaver Boys, I was pumped when they went in. I feel like they've been underused, but I mean, they've got regular contracts, so you can't really fault them for that. It's a tough list. But moving on to Albert Bettis from Rockin' Randy's Rockin' Wrestling Group. He's got Joey Janela, Evil Uno, Marco Stunt, Chuck Taylor, and Orange Cassidy. Granted, some of these lists, I feel like, I don't want to put words necessarily in their mouth, but I feel like they're almost in that Cornette camp where they're not Janela fans. So it's the Janela, the best friends, kind of more the jokey, less serious wrestlers.
It's polarizing.
Yeah.
That's what it goes down to. That's what you're going to get with a list like this. You're going to get people that just don't like. We're not asking you to like put aside with a list like this too. Like, okay, put aside your feelings and tell us like, you know, who do you legitimately think is the best? You're just telling us, I want you to cut that guy. I don't really like that guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
Talking about not liking that guy, we got Randy's list is up next. And, I mean, very similar to some people, Randy had Luther. He had Private Party. Yeah, weird week for that choice. We got Peter Avalon, Awesome Kong, and Big Swole. A little odd pattern there. But, I mean, why do you see... Private Party, I was very surprised to see he thought they should get the boot because underutilized, but I mean, they've got that potential. And yeah.
I mean, again, we're talking about personal preference. Whatever, he just doesn't seem to like the Private Party. I don't know what it is, but that's his preference.
We'll address AJ's list because AJ feels it's too soon to cut anyone from AEW. And I don't think AJ's watched Dark.
Oh, he definitely is not.
Because if you would watch Dark, you would say, yeah, we got a portion of this roster we can cut. Now, this isn't to say we want anybody to be out of a job necessarily. I mean, I'm not speaking for everybody. So, some people could be coming at this with hate in their hearts, but I've got to make a list of who I think could be cut. And I'm really going to start with Evil Uno. Because, I mean, even though those guys started off the Dark Order, I feel like it's kind of what they've done has gone out. Their importance has gone out the door once Brody Lee came in. Sure. Obviously, Michael Nakazawa is going to be next on the list. After Michael Nakazawa, I'm going to have to cut QT Marshall because, I mean, he does serve that jobber role, but he's almost been, like, I don't want to say over-featured for his position, but, like, he's gotten a lot of airtime for somebody that kind of is.
Well, if you're not watching like all the Road to stuff, like he's been talking to Diamond Dallas Page. I don't know if you've seen this. Page is teaching him the diamond cutter. Like they're coming up with stories for him. Like they're actually good. And I don't know if you picked up on this because it was on Dark, but it actually happened very briefly on Raw. The Bunny, remember the Butcher, the Blade, and Allie the Bunny? Yeah. She's no longer with the Butcher and Blade. She's stalking QT Marshall. She was eating an apple and
I noticed there was something going on with them.
An aside, that Dynamite.
Speaking of the Butcher and the Blade, how ready are you for FTR versus Butcher and the Blade Wednesday?
The fact that FTR doesn't have a contract makes me just a little concerned going into matches. Like I hope they're not there just to put people over because I definitely think like they got to win that match.
I don't know. Did you hear them on Cornette at all?
I haven't heard that yet.
Oh, wow. They talked about almost having real heat with the Bucks over the whole feud. And it almost sounded like a kayfabe interview, but saying, like, eventually we could get in the ring with them, but, like, we don't know what we're going to do. Like, there is still some bad feelings that are going to come out. So, and they made it sound like they didn't come in specifically just to do jobs. Check out that Cornette interview. It's very interesting. I got to come up with 2 more people that should be cut. I am going to make the bold move. And I don't even know if I want to say we should cut Jim Ross.
Oh. You know what I would say before that? Cut Alex Marvez.
Oh, wow. See, I would think keep Alex Marvez for the backstage and just do Shivani, Excalibur, and Taz as your commentary. But
okay. I'll tell you what, Post put over Ross and Shivani recently. Yeah. And if you look back, remember when Ross did that interview with Ortiz? Was it Ortiz or Santana?
I can't remember who's who, but it was about his father being blind.
How serious they got that over that.
Ross has done some good things, but I feel I'm not gonna get into this to criticize Ross. I'm gonna choose an announcer because I feel like if you had like a tight booth of Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Taz with like Alex Marvez as a backstage guy, that's nothing against Jim Ross. I just wanted to make like a different pick.
And the other now just news was where this is kind of a little off topic, but Tony is really good with the casual sit downs, like with FTR. There's different things. Okay, did you have all 5?
No, I've got one last person I got to cut from AEW.
Did we mention Scott's list?
We did not mention Scott's list yet. I'm going to cut Marco Stunt because I feel like the Jurassic Express team just have Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and you would be good. You wanna find Scott's list for us for a second?
Sure. We're live, pal.
Usually we're a little better organized than this, but you guys know we're the working fans. We do this after work.
Busy fucks.
Yeah, you got to see the racks of bread Dave has in his car right now.
Racks in my house. 5 people they should cut from Scott. Alex Marvez, Mel, Dark Order Jobbers 8, 9, and 10. To which I responded, how dare you? 10 has potential, and I believe that he's the winner Luther.
So who was 4 and 5 for him?
Jobbers, Dark Order Jobbers 8, 9, and 10.
Oh, so that's what he did for 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could take one of them out for Luther.
I mean, he's not wrong. That Dark Order, you have those henchmen, but I mean, I don't think they're good for like that creep factor. But, like, you don't need them all the time, and I don't even think they should be featured that much. Pop up in a pay-per-view once in a while. Dave, we've debated this down, and we still have one list left to go, unless I forgot anybody.
We got Jake, Zach, Mike.
Oh, yeah, we got all the regulars. We got Randy. We didn't leave him off this list.
Jesse, too, right?
Jesse from New Hampshire, sure shit. Sent him out his box of gimmicks today that went out in the mail.
There we go. Helping my boy out. All right, let's wrap this up here. We're all a little bit of a page from Scott. I'm going to take out Dark Order members 8 and 9. All right. I'm also going to add...
They're going to be 1 and 2 on your list, 8 and 9?
Yeah, I'm also going to add Mel, which I think Scott might have mentioned Mel, too. I'm not sure what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, she was number 2 on his list.
Luther, I'm going to throw out there just because he's older, and he's kind of lucky to be getting this spot right now.
Put him as the manager of like Jimmy Havoc. Maybe get another deathmatch guy in there. That's the only way you could keep him in there and keep him relevant. Otherwise, to me, he just seems like that odd peg now that the Nightmare Collective's gone.
He had that feud with Jimmy Havoc, too. It was mostly on Dark, but they had one match, I think. No,
Yeah,
it was on Dark, too.
Yep. No, yeah, that makes sense. Who do you got as number 5 on your list?
And number 5, after careful consideration, mentioned so many times, I ended up going with Michael Nakazawa.
It makes all the sense in the world.
Get that motherfucker off my TV.
God damn, do you just want to make him the top 1 so we can get to the end? Or not the top 1, the number 1 choice of...
No, I know what you mean. He's ultimately...
Oh, no, we got to put it in there because Zach does not like the term top 1. And I've been chided about it a few times, so we're fixing it. So we got... Oh, geez, this kitten's falling off my lap. Get up here, Thor. This little motherfucker is fucking up production here. I'm watching him for 1 week. And he's...
Starting to pound out some 5-3-1s.
Yeah, now
Luckily,
he's
we're slow as
attacking
fucking
cords
doing this
under
stuff.
our feet.
Oh, you can hear him there. Little motherfucker's trying to get a cameo.
He's okay.
Say hi to the people. Say hi to the people. Oh, now you're going to shut the fuck up. That's cool. All right, so who do we got next on the list under Nakazawa? A lot of Luthers. A lot of QT Marshalls. A couple Evil Unos.
Fuck, dude.
QT Marshall, I know, popped up on a few. So.
But if you're watching like Dark and stuff like that, they're really trying shit with him, and they're giving it. He has a winning record.
Are they showing more promise with him than they are with Brandon Cutler? Because I feel like they're almost on the same level.
No, they're doing way more with him than Brandon Cutler. Brandon Cutler's only getting spots on the B&D Elite show.
Okay, which is probably, I mean, honestly, where he should be. Do you want to take QT out and put Brandon Cutler in?
Sure.
Since I'm not going to say that's what people were thinking, but it is that equivalent level of person.
I'm saying that QT probably shouldn't be at a lower level, but
Yeah.
they're not treating him as such.
No.
So, yeah, I'll throw Brandon Cutler.
All right, and then, shit, I mean, we could almost do...
Receding hairline motherfucker on here looks like the old hair club for men. Like, I don't know what they see in him, but they're keeping him around doing something with it.
So who do you want to put in that third spot? Because there's not a lot of people that show up on a lot of lists. I mean, Peter Avalon's on a couple. Private Party's on one list.
It's tied. Like, who the fuck cares about these two motherfuckers under a mask, 8 and 9? 10 they actually gave it made.
Is that
10
fucking...
was the
So 8 and 9 are actually real people?
8 and 9, I have no idea who they are.
But
10,
they refer to them by 8 and 9 regularly?
Yes. Yeah, they were on.
How the
like,
fuck have I missed this?
You gotta watch the Call Out AJ. You gotta watch Dark a little more too. I missed the last 2 weeks though. I was keeping
Hey,
up.
at least I'm not reading reviews of shows.
So far, we got Michael Nakazawa, Brandon Cutler, and shit. Do we just put AJ on the list for the top people?
AEW should cut.
Well, at the end of
AJ's
the-
birthday this week, so happy birthday
Yeah,
to AJ.
well, not by the time this airs. By the time we record.
Oh yeah, by the time we recorded this, so AJ's birthday was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Don't worry, he can take a little ball busting.
Yeah, he's fine. He will survive.
He probably got it worse from his wife on his birthday than from us.
Watching these.
Yeah, you're watching Ace Romero versus Tracy Williams, and there's friend of the show Kristen in the corner, and we still got to pick a third person to cut Dave. So, you just want to pick a name out of a hat?
Sure.
You want to do Eva Luna?
Eva Luna's fine.
Or no, let's do Peter Avalon because we talked about him a couple times, and he showed up on multiple lists.
We got Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler fighting for top jobber.
Well, you got Peter Avalon, Brandon Cutler, and Michael Nakazawa.
Oh.
Who's the first to get cut?
The first to get cut, meaning the least likely to be cut, is Peter Avalon. He's got the most personality potential on it.
But they're doing storylines with Cutler on Dark. Remember, that was kind of what boosted him. Are they doing anything with Avalon on Dark?
They're doing stuff with Avalon on being the elite with Cutler, arguing over who's the worst jobber. Avalon keeps heckling him and talking about how you suck.
Maybe they just want to Google or they want to look up Working Fans Podcast on YouTube and they can find out who the top jobber is going to be because
I'm going to boo...
who do you think's got a better storyline since you're aware of everybody's lists? Look at that cat out on the floor. He's been wild for so long. Now he's sleeping on Dave's list. I hope the fans aren't sleeping on Dave's list though. So between Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler, whose stories in the supplemental material are you most into?
Out of the two, Avalon. Avalon has more... Avalon, and he has Leva, which I think Leva does have potential. I think.
Yeah, Brandon Cutler just has Dungeons and Dragons in the
Yeah,
face.
he comes out dressing like his mom made him some superhero clothes. Cool story, bro. Get the fuck out of here. All right, so after Avalon,
So we got Avalon up against Michael Nakazawa.
and let's remind people, we're competing for the worst, like who should get cut. Now, I'm gonna save Cutler on this one because even though he's kind of
You're
a
gonna
joke-
say we already bounced Cutler off the list,
oh
so it's like Nakazawa versus.
no. We bounced Avalon off the list because we're fight the two bottom ones are the two shits.
Okay.
Remember? So
Yep.
We're picking worst.
I wasn't thinking in opposites, I'm sorry.
That's right. That's why I'm helping you out here. So Avalon survives because he's better than that. Okay.
All right, so it's
now
Brandon
we get down
Cutler
to the
versus
real
Michael
shit.
Nakazawa.
No offense, guys. I'm just trying to make it clear for our fans.
I mean, do you want to stretch this out to a half hour and pretend like it's a competition, or do you just want to squirt baby oil all over this shit and let it slip through our fingers?
Belongs on Monday Night Raw in a very bad way. Not like when I want to see Raw eventually become again, but like what it is now. Get rid of him.
So guys, I mean, you know what the music means. It means Michael Nakazawa is the top person that AEW should cut. Yeah, I'm sure he is a good person, but I mean, the way they've represented him has been awful. And guys, you know where to find us. The email is workingfanswrestlingpod@gmail.com. The Twitter is @fansworking. The Instagram is workingfanswrestling_pod. Dave and AJ Facebook page. Working Fans Podcast Facebook page. Guys, tell us what you think. All right, have a good one.